This is Bangarang Radio, a podcast network. For more shows, visit bangarangradio.com.
I'm going out, I gotta go. I'll bangarang on the radio. So turn it up, I'm telling you. I think I'm ready for something new. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. You're listening to Pop Punk and Pizza on Bangarang Radio.
All right, well, welcome to the fourth episode of Pop Punk. I almost said Bangarang Radio.
Oh my god.
No, Pop Punk and Pizza right here on bangarangradio.com. I am your host, Jacques Lamour. Thank you so much for tuning in. And our special guest today is Mr. Gomez. Not related to Selena.
I wish, dude.
Actually, no. Do you pick up chicks that way?
I don't wish.
Do you pick up chicks that way?
You know what's really strange is that, like, we have the same birthday.
Yeah.
And
Wait, you do?
Yeah. We have the same
Whoa.
birthday and the same last name, so...
I think twins,
totally.
like Luke and Leia
Like,
kind of thing
honestly,
going on.
Like, if I ever got the opportunity to meet her, it'd be like, we instantly be best friends. That's like the first thing.
Yeah. I don't think you'd be able to sleep with her either,
No,
or date her. That'd be weird.
It'd be really strange.
What if that happened? That would be just super weird. Like she would keep her last name, and you guys have the same birthday. That's just weird.
Yeah, she wouldn't have to change it.
No. So maybe that'd be a good
that's
thing.
Like convenient, and she's cool. She seems pretty cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I think she's pretty. She seems cool to me. I don't know. My girlfriend's a big fan of hers, so I don't know.
I don't know, but also at the same time, I'm like the king of like heartbreak songs, dude. Like
You
know,
are.
So
Yeah, that's true.
I have to take Justin Bieber's side on this one, dude.
What?
That sounds so shitty.
I was just gonna say, no, I'm not a Bieber guy. I'm just not. No Bieber for me.
No.
I'm gonna stick to.
You're not rocking that new record, dude. It's so good.
No, thanks. I have to play his music, on one of the stations I work for, but yeah, no thanks. No thanks. I'm good. I'll stick to. I'd rather listen to Selena Gomez all day long.
Interesting.
Or actually. No, I won't go that far. I was going to say something really mean. I was going to say I'd rather listen to Pitbull than listen to Justin Bieber. But Pitbull is, I don't think I could do that either. Anyway, just random chit-chatter as we open up the show. But today, this episode 4, by the way, is going to be in 2 parts because just this last Friday, 2 big records came out among many others. For some reason, this last Friday, it was just like... It's like New Music Friday and everything was just blowing up. There was, in like the punk world, you've got a Green Day, Sum 41, and NoFX. I don't know if there's, I know there was a bunch of other bands, but those are like the big ones, like the legends.
There's like a lot of newer bands too. Like
right, there was a ton of newer bands. And I don't
even
remember.
In the pop world, like I'm not crazy into the pop world. I'm like obviously like more into like punk rock and stuff, but
yeah,
like I follow like a few like pop artists I do like on Instagram, and like. Christine Perry, she posted like new music that's coming out today, and it was like a bunch of like album cover, like it was like like a collage.
I didn't know she was still. I actually saw her. I saw her live. She opened for. Why am I forgetting his name? I'm having a brain fart. What the heck is his name?
Singer-songwriter?
Ed Sheeran.
I was gonna say yeah.
She opened up for Ed Sheeran. She was really good.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Why are we talking about Ed Sheeran on a pop punk show?
I have no idea. I kind of just like we're talking about new music.
I just realized that. I was like,
music that came out just yesterday.
Yeah. Well, yes, sir. We're recording this on Saturday, but you're watching this either on Tuesday, or another day. Well, Tuesday the. Let's see. I got to look at my calendar here. I should know what
Tuesday
the 11th,
or sometime in the future.
Or sometime in the future, exactly. Anyway, but with this episode 4, we are going to focus on Green Day's Revolution Radio and then Sum 41's 13 Voices. Part 1 is all going to be about Green Day's Revolution Radio.
This record,
yes,
right here for those that are watching. I know a lot of you are listening, but
listening or watching, you can watch this on YouTube. If you choose to. But yeah.
I'm holding it in my hands for anybody listening.
Definitely. And don't be afraid to get up close to the mic there, my friend.
Okay,
we want everyone to hear you loud and clear.
Cool.
There you go. Yeah. Hug that thing. Make out with it.
I will.
Yeah.
Do naughty things to it.
Well, we are drinking beer, so there could be some interesting things that happen. I mean, you just never know. So anyway, I want usually on the show we do a pop punk and pizza news segment. We just kind of throw some different news updates that have been going on in the last week in the pop punk world. But I think today, with this episode, there's just so many things to talk about with these two new records between Green Day and Sum 41 that we don't even have enough time for that. So we're just gonna dive on in to Green Day's Revolution Radio. So, and actually, I guess we are gonna kind of do a news segment, but it's gonna be on Green Day. So instead of it being generalized on a bunch of different artists, this is specifically going to be on Green Day. So I'll go ahead and I'll play our little news jingle anyway. How about that? News team, assemble!
It's this week's Pop, Punk, and Pizza News.
All right, so this week's Pop, Punk, and Pizza News, like I just said, is based on Green Day, since we are reviewing part 1 of episode 4. We are reviewing Revolution Radio, and there's just so many Green Day things to talk about this week, I feel.
Yes.
Anyway,
they've been a band for 1,000 years.
1,000 years now. Just like Yoda. He was like 1,000 years old before he died, right? No, but just, it's like putting out a new record seems like it wasn't enough for them to have news like this last week. First, American Idiot. It's been rumored for years that it was going to be a movie, and of course it became a musical first on Broadway, which I did go see. Did you see the musical?
I did not.
No?
I saw like little bits and pieces of it on like YouTube and stuff. But
Okay.
it looked cool. It definitely looked cool. I actually think I seen a performance of one song on some like late night talk show or something, and it was rad. It was really cool.
I didn't like it as much as I thought I would, but
Okay.
I still liked it. So
I think they were trying to like just appeal to just more so like the Broadway kind of
right.
crowd, or
Oh,
the
definitely.
people that are just into musicals and
Mm-hmm.
not just like fans of alternative music. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
But when they, put out the musical, the Broadway musical, there was still that rumor going around that it was going to be a movie. And finally, Green Day is telling us this week, Billy Joe said that they have the green light from HBO. So they're working with HBO on this one. And I remember within the last year or two, there was actually rumor that Tom Hanks was going to be involved with this. But
I did not hear that. That's really cool.
but I don't see any Tom Hanks notes in this latest article that I was reading from Alternative Press. So, but still, this is exciting. And just like Billy Joe did for, I think, about a month, 2 weeks to a month on Broadway, he played Saint Jimmy. He's going to do that in the movie too.
Insane. I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Cool,
super excited for it. And on another acting note for Billy Joe Armstrong, don't forget his first starring role in a film. If you're watching this before the 14th, or even if you're watching this after October 14th, but Ordinary World is going to be out on the 14th, and I'm super stoked to watch that.
Yes.
Did you see the trailer
Yes,
for it?
I saw it. And
I think it looks good.
oh man, I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's going to
cool.
be.
He seems like such a I don't know. He seems like such a down to earth dude. I don't know.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I was reading another thing about him today. There's just been a flood of articles coming out about Green Day just because of the brand new record. And one of them was 25 things that you didn't know about Billy Joe Armstrong. And of course, it was dished out from him. And he was saying that he is awkward most times in social situations, which I could totally see. And we can both relate to that, I'm sure. I know I can, at least.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable in the music world. That's it.
yeah, exactly. Like
know?
when it comes to like doing this podcasting stuff or anything, if I'm hanging out at a show and I know a bunch of people there, but if it comes to other stuff, I can be kind of awkward or,
Out of the loop.
yeah.
Out of the loop a
'cause,
little bit. It's
yeah.
like a never-ending learning experience. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You like what you like, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. And then most of the news we have on Green Day is always centered around Billy Joe, since he's the front man. But another thing he said, I remember when he sent out this tweet, it was either the end of last year or the beginning of this year. Remember when he said he wanted to destroy pop punk?
Yeah. There's so many politics with Green Day, and I don't know. I actually just tweeted this yesterday or the day before or something, and I saw like a comment that really like just ticked me off. You know, it's like childish, whatever. Like I shouldn't even be reading those, but you know, somebody said like Green Day hasn't been punk since the Pop Disaster tour in 2002.
Wow.
I'm like, what does that even mean?
That's a bold statement, right
because
there.
like they're like touring off their greatest hits record during that time period. Like
yeah, they were.
like,
That's right.
I feel like so many people have just their own.
Yeah.
I don't know, ideas of like what punk should be and everything, and a lot of times they're wrong because it's just music at the end of the day. Like
yeah.
everyone's just, you know.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, it is at the end of the day, everyone's got their own opinion about metal, punk, pizza. Anything you can throw it out there, they have their own opinion. Like, you know, some people say, I don't know, like Fall Out Boy or something.
Right.
You know, that's another opinion. Some people still consider them to be a rock band.
Right.
And then people are like, no, they're a pop band. But, you know.
Yeah, I forgot who said this. Some other band said this on your show because I was watching it.
Okay.
They said that at the end of the day, it's like you're a band.
Yeah, no, I think that's what Kevin from Guardrail and El Famous
That's right.
was saying.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kevin's right.
It's your band. Like it doesn't.
Right.
It's like you have no say if you don't like something. Like start your own band.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. I don't
Yeah.
know. So,
No.
You know. But I get at the same time I get it because like people like hold music so closely, and
Yeah.
they just feel like when something changes or that you know something doesn't go their way, they're just like they're not on board with it sometimes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that, my friend. Excuse me. So, anyway, back to what we were saying about Billy Joe, that he wanted to destroy pop punk. He was telling NME magazine, he told Kerrang. I believe that's how it's pronounced, right? Kerrang?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Is it
yeah,
Kerrang?
the magazine. Yeah, Kerrang.
Yeah.
Kerrang.
Kerrang.
From the UK.
Yes.
Right.
Great magazine.
Right.
Anyway, he had an interview with them this last week, and he said, I've always hated the phrase pop punk, and I think it's a contradiction in terms. Either you're punk or you're not. And he said the tweet was not directed to any band or anything like that. It's just that it's too singular of a term for his tastes. He also said, I come from a scene where every band was different from the others, and it was also diverse, which is true because the 90 I can't talk today. 924 Gilman, right?
Yeah,
Is it 924?
something like that. I don't know. I'm not punk. So.
I don't know. I'm not punk. I'm pop punk. Fight me, Billy Joe. Fight me. No. Anyway, the Gilman Street scene that they are from, which is where Rancid came from, Operation Ivy, so many bands. And really, if you think about it, it was very diverse because Rancid does not sound like Green Day.
No.
You
No
know?
effects too. Like
No effect. Yeah.
You know,
Sort of from the same area. There's so many bands. Anyway, he said no two bands sounded the same. No one was jumping on one particular sound. We were all different. Every good band was into other good bands, or every good band was into what other good band were doing. I think this is written wrong, or I'm reading it wrong. And it didn't matter that these bands were very different from one another. In fact, it was important that we were different from one another. And now we have pop punk, and I hate the phrase. It lacks diversity.
well, I mean, to argue with that, I think like doesn't like the term pop doesn't that derive from popular? So at the end of the day, like
Does it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some people.
I don't know.
Some people have like.
I honestly
a
don't know
different,
what it derives from.
Might have a different take on that, but
Yeah.
you know, Green Day has been a popular band for decades now. You know,
Yeah.
been a really important band, influential. I think Billy Joe just wants to be heard.
Well, in all honesty, I definitely think he's right.
Yeah, you think so? You agree with?
I see where he's coming from,
Billy
even
Joe?
though I'm a big pop punk is my heart and soul. Pop punk and ska and any kind of punk music, it's my heart and soul. But I see where he's coming from.
Interesting.
I do. I really do. I mean, it does lack diversity. And I mean, really, the punk genre is very diverse anymore, and everyone's got their own version of it anyway.
Well, yeah,
like that's kind of what he was saying is no same punk band in the Gilman scene had the same sound. Like Green Day.
Okay, I get what you're saying because like the new era, you know.
Well,
for you know some people in some people's eyes, it's also an age thing too because like you know, I'm pretty sure there's artists from other genres or whatever, like a lot of people will say, oh, like all like hip hop, you know, it sounds the same, you know,
Yeah.
because it comes from like this, you know, urban lifestyle. They might be singing about the same things or whatever. And it's also like a, you know, just a generation gap and everything. But
It changes every
Yeah,
generation.
it really does. Like I think it
Yeah.
changes like every like 5 years. I would say, like, you know, with like high school.
5 to 10, yeah. Well, 10 is a lot, but yeah, no, I agree with you on that for sure. So, all right, well, with that being said, that's just some tidbits of news going on with Green Day this week, and obviously the biggest news, Revolution Radio is officially here, and both Dave and I have listened to it, and so we're just gonna kind of step through the songs, and you know, we'll give not necessarily talk about each individual song and what we thought of it, but you know, we'll pick out some individual songs here and there, and so on and so forth. So, now, first of all,
Cool.
I want to ask you.
Hold up. Let's jump in. Let's jump into this real quick.
Okay.
I listened to most of it because this came out, you know, just yesterday.
It was just yesterday for us,
I bought it.
yeah.
I actually bought it. I actually bought the physical copy.
I'm waiting for my vinyl to show up.
I bought it at Target.
Nice.
Yeah, they got some pretty good deals, man. $10. So, you know, I figured why not?
Yeah,
support,
why not?
Support the cause, man.
Yeah.
Pop punk or not, man.
Yeah,
I'm supporting
whatever.
it. I'm supporting the
That's
cause.
what I'm saying. You know, when I first read the article about Billy Joe saying he wants to destroy pop punk, I'm like, oh, we better change our name now. You know, better change the name of the podcast. It's no longer Pop Punk and Pizza.
Yeah.
You know.
You got to abide by the king.
Yeah, I gotta abide by the king. So, no, I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, but now I want to ask you, Dave. Did you listen to their trilogy of records that came out before Revolution Radio came out in 2012? Did you listen to Uno Dos or Trey?
I did, and I feel like my opinion is so different from everybody.
Well, I
Because,
want to
like,
hear it. I want to hear what
because-
your opinion is
because
on it.
everyone hates it. And
I didn't.
I don't. Oh, you don't. You like it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I liked them.
Everyone's. I think like the marketing might have come across a little cheesy because they're like a 3-piece. You know, they could easily get away with doing the 3 different album covers with like each member on the art. But I thought it was a really cool idea. It's definitely like I don't know, just pushing music forward in a different way, even though it was, might have been looked at as like a branding thing, and it it could have well been a branding thing, but.
Well, something that Green Day has always done, they always do something different, and especially since the American Idiot days, for sure. But even before that, like when they did Warning in 2000, that was a lot different than Dookie or Insomniac or Nimrod. So they're always trying something new for the most part, and I think that's what they were doing. They're like, oh, we'll put out 3 records, and each one is going to have like a different sound or a different edge to it. Mm-hmm. And I think people were overwhelmed with all the new music, and then on top of that, then you had Billy Joe's meltdown with the iHeartRadio Music Festival. He ended up going to rehab, rescheduled a bunch of tour dates because of that. They had to, they had all kinds of tour dates scheduled for that fall of 2012, and they had to push them back all the way to, I think, March of 2013. So, or push ahead, I guess I should say. But either way, excuse me, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But so I think, that obviously didn't help.
No. But another thing, I feel like it also happened because, as a songwriter, I'm pretty sure you can relate to this. When you write, sometimes inspiration just keeps on flowing, and you have like a lot to say. And I'm pretty sure they just had like a lot of material over a short amount of time, and they figured, why not? Like, we are Green Day, we're like the biggest band in the world. We can do something like that. Like,
yeah.
if we can be the band, why not take that chance? And
yeah,
they took that chance. And I actually read something with Billy. And he said that he actually regretted it, like maybe a year later. He said he actually regretted the whole idea of it.
Yeah, he said. Well, he said that maybe a bad idea. Yeah, but he said he would do it still again just because, why not?
Yeah.
They wanted it to be off the cuff,
right.
And that's exactly what it was. It was really off the cuff. The Uno Dos Tres was very raw. It was all very raw.
Yeah.
So.
Well, also raw, and also like some people can give them. We can curse on this, right?
Sure, if you want to.
I don't know. We probably already have been cursing a lot, so
I don't know, but you can you can say whatever you want.
Okay, because like there's like that song "Kill the DJ," and
yeah.
a lot of people hated that one because
yeah,
it's like more of like a current kind of like like a Good Charlotte-esque kind of like you know.
It had some influences of, I don't know. It like kind of reminded you of like surf rock.
Yeah,
but then
like surf
there was
rock,
like,
but there was like the language of like him saying like fuck like a million times in the song.
yeah,
like, whatever.
almost
you know,
like
people were like, oh, you're not punk, dude, because you're just it's not punk to like curse a lot.
mhm.
And
Yep, I agree.
and well, like people might look at that as like not being like poetic or like just smart.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
You know,
I get what you're saying.
you know.
But I suppose we can talk forever about Uno Dos Tres. But I was
Oh,
just
for sure,
curious.
for sure.
I was just curious
We
on
could
what you
jump.
thought of it. I thought it was good. I liked each record. Maybe that's just because I'm a big diehard fan of Green Day. But either way, I liked each one because each one was different from the other. And there were some classic sounding Green Day songs on there. At least I thought they sounded some of them sounded very classic,
Right.
You're throwing back to like Kerplunk days and Dookie days and stuff like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
But
so-
what you said about like the whole like people thought it might have been too much to handle. Like it was like just a little like overwhelming. It's too much music because like the time period it came out was that 2012.
Yep.
That was a time period when EPs were just starting to become like the standard. Maybe even before that. Maybe just EPs have been kind of a thing for a while now. But like I don't think the world's like ready for that kind of like attention span, I guess. So it was just like a little too much music.
It was a lot.
So
It was really
even like
a
when
lot.
like the band a little different band, but like say anything, they put out a double disc record.
Yeah.
Like I think that was like 2007, I want to say, maybe 2008. But yeah, that was like even as a fan, I was like I was younger at the time, and I was probably like 17. And it was like a lot to handle. I don't even think I listened to like the second disc until like 2 years later. It was just too much, man.
Yeah. And that was I was reading an article about that recently about how they were making the point when any band, any genre has released like a double disc record or anything like that, it's always been a tough sell.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's what they encountered. But I still think it was worth a shot.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, with that being said, let's dive into Revolution Radio now. So,
This one.
yeah,
This
that
one.
one. He's holding it up if you're watching this. So let's start off with the opening song. Now, did you notice? Are you a classic rock fan at all? Do you know any?
I did
classic
not
rock
grow up
music?
on classic rock.
Okay.
No.
Well,
But I'm familiar with a lot of bands. Like I get it.
sure. Okay. Well, I grew up on Boston, and particularly because my parents, that was one of their vinyl records that they had was Boston. Their debut record. It was just entitled Boston. I forget the year it came out. It must have been late 70s or right around 1980. Don't quote me on that. I'm not that big of a Boston fan to know, but
All the Boston fans are pissed off at you right now.
they probably are because so many Boston fans are listening to this right now. Anyways,
They love pop punk and pizza.
they do. I listened to that record a lot, and I still do because they gave me that record with some other stuff. So I still listen to that Boston record multiple times, and I was reading Alternative Press. I was reading their review on the Green Day Revolution Radio record, and in the first paragraph, they talk about how the first song on Revolution Radio sounds like the first song off that Boston record I was just talking about. And so when the record came out this last week and I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, this sounds so much, they sound so much alike. So I kind of wanted to play each one. I've got the Boston, and More Than a Feeling is the song I'm talking about, by the way. And of course, the Green Day song is Somewhere Now. So we're just going to listen. I'll play the Green Day first, okay?
I'm running late to somewhere now I don't want to be, where the future and promises ain't what it used to be. I never wanted to compromise or bargain with my soul. How did life on the wild side ever get so So don't.
Okay, so there's the Green Day version. Now let's go to Boston's More Than a Feeling.
I woke up this morning and the sun was gone. Turned on some music to start my day. And lost myself in a familiar song. I closed my eyes and I slipped away.
How about that?
Wow. Sorry, I'm so fucking loud. Yeah, that's insane. Like, they say like rip off your favorite artist, and that's a saying, right? Rip off your favorite artist.
I just, sometimes when you read reviews and they say, oh, it sounds exactly like this song, sometimes they're not always right.
Yeah.
But that was pretty dead on, I think. The
Yeah.
melody line between More Than a Feeling, Boston, and, Somewhere Now,
right.
I mean, pretty darn similar there, in my opinion, as you just heard. So
I wasn't when this is all new to me. Like I had no idea.
Yeah.
So like it's like it's eye opening. But when I first popped in the record, I just was not expecting that like to be the first track. Like more of like a
It's-
slower like kind of like intro. Like
and it's obviously very classic rock.
yeah.
So, which, if you, if you're a fan of American Idiot or if you're a fan of 21st Century Breakdown, there's a lot of classic rock influence in both of those records. Especially, I feel like 21st Century Breakdown does. That's just my opinion, though. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
To throw that out there, the way they opened it up and
Right.
everything.
Yeah, no, Billy Joe is just known for that. Like, I think a lot of artists are. Like, I know we're talking about Green Day here, but
No.
like Fall Out Boy, like they kind of like they're the same deal, but they're more so. A lot of people hate them for it, but they're emulating new generation music,
Yeah.
like hip hop and
Right.
more current top 40. Green Day's a little bit older, so they're emulating stuff like
Right.
maybe a generation or two before them, like a couple decades.
And also, being a songwriter too, I've written songs before that had the same melody line as some of my favorite songs and not even know it until after I wrote it. And then I listen to it and I'm like, holy shit, this sounds like this Less Than Jake song. Like,
Insane,
You
man.
know, and
I
I'll-
do it on purpose, but
no, and that's what I'm saying. This might be an accidental thing.
Yeah.
Because it happens, and some people are like, oh, no, they knew. But
Yeah.
it happens. It really does.
does
So
happen,
whether it's
yeah.
intentional or not, it's there. But it could be something that just happened, or they meant it for it to happen. I'm not really sure. We'll probably never know.
Some people don't want to like let their secrets out as far as like their
Yeah.
their abilities and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, and like where they take just different elements from their music from, because like you have to even in the beginning when you're first starting, you have to start somewhere, like, and I think that's one of the best ways to learn is to emulate other artists and songs, and that's how I learned structure, by
Yeah.
like listening to like Green Day actually and
Yeah.
MXPX and stuff like that.
Oh, sure. I agree with you, man. I definitely agree with you on that. So, so that's Somewhere Now. Sounds like More Than a Feeling by Boston. So it's got that
Yes.
classic classic rock vibe going on. The next two tracks, Bang Bang, Revolution Radio. We've heard those before. They've been out for, Bang Bang's been out for a month or so, maybe longer.
Yeah, there's like a lyric video, and it's pretty cool. It's a super like, there's a lot going on. It's definitely a good watch.
Now, when I heard Bang Bang, when that was the first single they released, obviously, and I first heard it, I didn't think, oh my god, this is a catchy song, I love it. I honestly listened to it and I'm like, whoa, this is like balls to the wall punk rock. And I'm
Yeah,
like, this
yeah.
I was like, this is awesome, and it definitely, 'cause most Green Day songs, you listen to it and you're immediately hooked because they're usually good at writing those catchy songs and they grab you right away.
Yeah.
But Bang Bang didn't actually do that for me. It just, what it did to me is it blew me in the face, like, it blew up in my face, like I had, residue all over because it was just that. Now this could sound
Yes.
bad. I should probably stop there because someone is listening to this and be like, that's what she said.
That's what the song's about, though,
That's
dude.
what-
It's bang bang, bro. It's about banging, banging all the chicks.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Okay. So anyway, and it's obviously different from the opening song. It does not sound like classic rock. It has very heavy punk rock influence there, which I love. I love it.
Yeah.
Revolution Radio is more of an anthem. I dug that song. I don't know what did you think of it compared to Bang Bang? Did you like it better?
I liked it way better. I think Bang Bang was like honestly like a response to all the, because they have to know that a lot of people kind of like, a good majority of people didn't really like Uno, Dos, Tre, and the response from it. So they probably like were like, man, we need to like put out more punk stuff, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they don't give a shit. Maybe it's just like it's genuine. It's hard to tell. You never really know when the shit's actually genuine. Like, okay, we need to actually write more punk stuff or whatever it may be.
It's funny you bring that up. I almost forgot to mention this, but Bang Bang, before it was released, there was and I can't remember the guy's name. I should have looked it up, but there was a radio DJ out. Excuse me, burping over here. We're eating pizza and drinking beer, so there's going to be plenty of burps. But anyway, there was this radio DJ, I believe he was out east, and he had heard Bang Bang before it was released, and he was telling the media, and I remember Alternative Press covered this too, he was telling them that it was like a throwback to the Dookie days. Like, it sounded like Dookie. And then I was like, oh, this is interesting. I was reading that before it came out and I heard it. And then I heard it and I'm like, where the fuck did he get Dookie from this?
Right.
Because I don't hear Dookie. I hear, like, punk, obviously Dookie is a form of punk rock. But, like,
I hear more like American Idiot kind of style. Like,
it's... Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's like well produced. Like, Dookie's not like it's a great, obviously a classic record. It started this whole thing. There would not be a Pop Punk and Pizza without Dookie.
Exactly, there wouldn't be. That sounds bad, but if you're talking about like literal Dookie.
Right.
But no, I just didn't hear that when I heard Bang Bang. I didn't hear this sounds like it was from like the Dookie era of Green Day. It just, to me, it was like a mixture of things, but not like, oh, this sounds like old school Green Day. And even some reviews that I'm reading on this record about Revolution Radio, they're saying, Green Day kind of went back to their roots with things and back to the older days and just having fun and stuff. But I still don't hear that with this record. So
I think it's important to like keep around what you're like known for, I guess, because sometimes like as a band's career goes on, it's like you kind of lose that. You kind of just some bands are trying to keep with the times and keep relevant, and I don't know. I feel like at the same time, like Green Day, they're such an important band. They can do whatever they want. It's their band. Like no matter what, they're gonna sell out arenas around the world.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh man, even with like, Blink, like, oh, they changed their sound, blah, blah, blah. They have new members, whatever. It's like, or like, they're doing certain things to be more poppy. It's like, dude, like they, if you're looking at it in that terms, like they sold out years ago. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that stuff doesn't really matter.
It's just funny how some people still focus on that.
Like the term sellout and everything.
Yeah.
It's like they
sellout is
they
so
treat
90s.
it like they treat it like it's their fucking band.
It's so 90s.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so moving on from the first three tracks and going to Say Goodbye. I'm not even sure how to describe Say Goodbye. It didn't really stick out to me, but pretty much like the rest of the songs, up until I would say Young Blood, they're all pretty. They have like a more of a serious tone to them, or a darker tone. It's not really like, what's the word? Not happy, but
it's more like rebellious, I guess. Especially with like the time period. I think that could be another reason why this particular record is coming out during this time period, because they might be touching on like political.
Right. It touches. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It touches on the social issues that we're facing right now, and obviously from Billy Joe's perspective, and from Mike and Trey, of course, too. But the only like song, and we were just talking about this before we went on, that was like the fun song of the record is definitely Young Blood.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. Yeah. It's like it's definitely gonna go over well live if they do end up if they end up playing one of these like Youngblood live, it's gonna go over very well with the crowd, I feel.
And actually, I don't even know why. Before Youngblood, we should have talked about Still Breathing, which was they did release Still Breathing as a single before
good.
the 7th came out. And honestly,
so good.
I think I've listened through the whole record twice now. I still think it's my favorite song. If it's not Still Breathing, I really like Ordinary World, which is another. It's a ballad. Ordinary World is, which is the last song on the record, but it's an acoustic ballad. To whereas Still Breathing is like a rock kind of ballad feeling anthem.
Yeah, from like a musician standpoint, even like listening to it, it's one of those songs like you want to like learn it right away. You kind of want to like play guitar and like figure the chords out and like sing, and it's just like a banger. It's like it sounds like it's like fun to play. And
Still Breathing is like classic Green Day hook. It hooks you right away from like seriously when those first chords strike and he starts singing, you're like, oh my god, this song is gonna knock me off my ass, and it's gonna be stuck in my head right away. I heard it once, and I was singing, I'm still breathing.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And of course, Still Breathing is I'm pretty sure referencing heavily to Billy Joe's trip to rehab 4 years ago when he did have that meltdown at iHeartRadio Music Festival, which I did. If you've never watched that whole meltdown, by the way, you should go to YouTube and find the video of their whole performance. I mean, he is just. Yeah. Have you seen? Did you ever watch?
If you didn't see it, shame on you.
Did you watch the whole thing? Because a lot of people just saw the last part where he freaked out. Mm-hmm. But when I saw just that last part of where he's smashing his guitar and everything, and cursing at Justin Bieber or whatever, I watched the whole thing because I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So I watched the whole thing, and you can tell throughout the whole performance, you're like, what the fuck is Billy Joe on? Mm-hmm. Like it was bad because throughout his set he was off. He wasn't even on his A game for his performing. It just wasn't there. And so it's entertaining to watch, but it's also sad to watch at the same time. And I'm sure I kind of wonder, knowing Billy Joe from press coverage, I kind of wonder if he looks back at that and laughs, because I could see him doing that, but obviously I don't know him, but I could just see them kind of chuckling about, hey, you said, I'm not fucking Justin Bieber,
right.
You motherfuckers. I don't know. Because I feel like that's something he would say whether he was high or sober, I don't know.
For sure. It's also like, they know they're an important band, and I guess they don't want to like lose that,
Yeah, well, they definitely haven't, especially with this.
They haven't. They didn't need to go out. And like Billy Joe, like that was like, that's kind of immature. Like he doesn't need. He doesn't need to go out and do that kind of thing. But at the same time, like if you're on something, shit happens. I guess. Mm-hmm. We all make mistakes. Sometimes it's just televised,
Yeah. Unfortunately, like everything is captured on video these days,
right.
Just like this podcast.
Right.
So
making some mistakes right now, dude.
Yeah. Like drinking beer is probably a mistake. Anyway, so Still Breathing, great song, and in all seriousness, though, we are glad that Billy Joe, got the help that he needed, and he seems like he's doing much better now, from what we can tell, anyway, from the internet and things like that. But going back to Youngblood, talking about how that's like the fun song of the EP, like the topic and everything, it's obviously referencing towards a woman.
Yeah,
I would think.
Super like just simple. Like I love songs. Like those are the songs that really grab me. Like I forgot who I was talking to. I was talking to somebody recently, and it was like. Actually, my buddy Gerard, Evolution Music, in the area.
Gerard
Ortiz.
Oh yeah, I know Gerard.
He was talking about like
what's the is he in One Steel Wound?
Yeah,
right.
That dude.
Yes, okay, I know who you're talking about.
He was telling me like sorry, I keep on jumping from other bands, but like like Linkin Park, their songs are so simple. Like they might sound a little complicated to like the non-musician, but like. I don't know. I like those songs. Youngblood brings me back to that simpleness. Like sometimes you shouldn't have to overthink.
Yeah, and obviously there's other simple songs on the record too. Mm-hmm. But that's definitely one of them. Now I feel like every Green Day record has a song like Youngblood, to where like, because in Youngblood he's referencing to like this young woman, like kind of like stealing his heart or kind of messing with him, and it makes me wonder what his relationship is like with his wife, if they have like an open relationship, or if he's just had like a bunch of one-offs, or there's just so many scenarios. Or it's like, he wrote maybe some of these songs before they even met, or he just makes these things up in his head, because there's so many songs. Like, seriously, if you go back to every single record, there's a song about a young woman that's like, and it could be about his wife for all I know, but it just, I don't know, it makes me wonder. I guess I'm getting kind of deep in and what if there, but
Totally.
that's what comes to my mind.
That's what's cool about Green Day though, is like, you see a lot of like younger or like older bands are keeping up with like social media and like Snapchat and like Instagram. Like, sure, he has those things. He does have an account for all those different outlets, but he doesn't really like show. He doesn't really update it that often. He doesn't really like show his his personal life too much.
No, not terribly much. Just mainly Green Day related stuff.
Yeah, as you see like mostly ads for Green Day shows, or like randomly a picture of his dog, or like a set list, or his guitar, or something like. That's really it, and that's kind of like honestly charming, because it's kind of keeps that mystery, which I think a lot of bands don't really do anymore. So I think that's kind of cool.
That's true. No, that's a good point. It just, I don't know. It just always makes me wonder. I mean, It could just be like he could see like an attractive woman on the street and be like, okay, for some reason, like the way. Like, I'm attracted to her right now is going to inspire me to write a song like Young Blood. And like, I guess I just wonder.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
It
could be about nothing, and he's just trying to like write a song. And
and
there's nothing wrong with that either.
I get, like I said,
you just like have scenarios in your head, and you just like, okay, this is cool. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's just like a throwaway. And some people may disagree, but I think it comes from like a genuine place, and. Yeah, I don't know.
I guess, like I said, I just wonder, just because he's been married for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And, I just wonder. That's all. I'm just curious. So moving on from Young Blood, going to number 9, Too Dumb to Die. That song really kind of like is like a blast from the past. Not necessarily as into where it's like, oh, this sounds like classic Green Day, but referencing to the lyrics, like what Billy Joe's talking about in that song. He's referencing like being in high school and how he was like an atom bomb, and things,
yeah,
things
there was actually a few of those songs like on I want to say it was Uno,
yeah,
where it was like kind of like talking about like high school, and
they were talking. He was talking about gangs and stuff.
Yeah,
I remember in Uno there was, I can't remember which song it was, but yeah.
There's like a high school dance song or something like that.
There's one is I'd rather go to a funeral than this high school reunion. Yeah, that's a lyric from Uno. Yeah,
right. That's the one, and yeah, I think it's cool. I don't know.
I love that line, by the way, because that's exactly how I feel. I would rather go to I don't want to go to my high school reunion. No way. I'm sorry. I don't think anyone from my high school is probably watching this right now, so I don't think they'll care, because most of my friends were always like you, outside of school, where we hang out and play shows together.
Totally.
So, and I mean, then from then on, the songs kind of get more. They get back to the heavy social issues kind of thing, like number 10, Troubled Times. It's kind of a heavy-hearted song, very, kind of mellow. And then what I love about the next song, Forever Now ties into Somehow Now, which I love it when Green Day does that, because they've done that.
Cool.
They did that on a couple different records. They did it on 21st Century Breakdown, and they also did it, I'm pretty sure, on American Idiot, where they kind of like, obviously they probably did that on those records because they're concept records, and that's kind of what Forever Now and Somehow Now are like.
Somewhere Now.
What's that?
Somewhere Now.
Yeah, exactly. Or right.
It's okay.
Anyway, you know what I meant. So right. Yeah, Forever Now and Somewhere Now connect, and if you remember, Somewhere Now is the first song on the record that sounds like the More Than a Feeling Boston song. And obviously Forever Now, part of it goes back to that same melody. But I just think it's cool how they tie it in. And they also, they do tie in they mention some of the other like song titles. Like he mentions Revolution Radio in it and stuff like that. I just love it when bands do stuff like that.
I love it, yeah.
Like where they kind of tie it all together at the end.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Even if it's not a concept record, like they'll make references to even. Actually, there's some bands, like Yellowcard. I remember did this, and it was like their 4th or 5th record, maybe their 6th record. I can't remember, but they made like a reference to one of their songs from like Ocean Avenue, from like way earlier in their career, and I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it's cool when bands do that.
Yeah. It just shows like their like people like familiarity.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, exactly. And then of course the very last song we mentioned this earlier, "Ordinary World," which is there's a movie called Ordinary World, and that song is actually featured in it too. So very mellow acoustic ballad. Songwriting is amazing, of course.
Great song. I can't wait to see the movie. I'm really looking forward to it.
Movie looks great. There's the dude from Portlandia in it, right?
Yeah.
If you watch that TV show,
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
That's
I've
the
only-
only other person I recognized.
Yeah. Well, no. There's a couple other people that I recognized, but I don't. I should have wrote down their names to tell you. But I've seen them in other movies. Not necessarily. They're not like major players or anything, but
Yeah.
they've been in some major films. Just not as like big leading roles or anything. But yeah, Ordinary World, great song. Looks like it's going to be a great movie too. And I think besides Ordinary World being in Ordinary World, I think there's some other songs that Billy Joe has written that are going to be in that movie. From what I hear.
I imagine there's gonna be like a soundtrack with it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I like the fact that he's like showing more of like his own personality in this movie, like his like more like innocence, like growing up, youthful, like that side of him. 'Cause, you know,
Yeah.
you don't really see that because everyone looks at Billy Joe as like this rock star, like this legend, if you will, and like he's been in other movies. Like, have you seen like This Is 40?
Yeah, he did just like a tiny.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
It was so
it was
so
like a-
funny, but like people, it was more so like,
was
hey,
like-
that's the guy from Green Day. Like,
Right,
Let's
well, it
make
was-
him say something stupid.
That was
and-
like a cameo.
right. It was
kind
more
of
of a
thing.
cameo. It wasn't really like
That was
acting per se.
Yeah, that was funny. I thought it was funny anyway. So, but so in a nutshell, I mean that's in our opinion, that's the kind of how the new record is. And some people, I'm still reading, like I think I probably mentioned this earlier in the episode, but that people are throwing this back to, Green Day going back to the roots and kind of sounding like some of their like older stuff before American Idiot. And I just don't hear that. I hear a lot of combination of stuff that sounds like it could have been from the American Idiot era or the 21st Century Breakdown era, or even there's obviously older, like, oh, that's classic Green Day, like that particular small riff there, like that could have been in, Nimrod or something.
totally.
I think it's kind of a collective thing, but to go as far as saying that they kind of went back to their roots, I don't agree with that, because a lot of the songs in this record have heavy subjects about what like currently is going on even in America. Even though it's not political, it doesn't mention references to Trump or anything like that.
Right.
But and that's something I want to mention too. Green Day has always been good at like capturing what is going on like in America at like that particular time, or what's going on in the world. I feel like they've always sort of captured that in all their records in some shape or form. Maybe sometimes it's more subtle than others, but I feel like they've always, I don't know, that's just my opinion. Because with Bang Bang, I mean, that's the Billy Joe wrote that from a standpoint from a mass shooter, or from a I don't know, I'm brain farting.
Somebody
over here.
killing people.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. That makes it simple. I don't know why I just didn't say that. Sometimes I have brain farts really bad like that. But anyway, so, and there's obviously tons and tons of mass shootings in America daily nowadays, and they're always broadcasting them, live on television and radio and all that stuff, and he really captures that. So if someone listens to this 10 years from now or 20 years from now, they're going to be like, oh, so that's what was happening, or, like they're just going to know just by listening to that record.
Yeah. Art takes time, and I feel like they have you seen the movie what's it called, the Green Day movie? It was like a documentary. It was in,
not Dose.
the one about American Idiot. What's it called? Somebody's shouting it right now.
Yeah, someone is. I just can't hear him.
Uh,
I know, I've seen it. I know what you're talking
okay,
about.
I saw it in theaters. I actually had like one premiere at the local theater.
That's right.
Okay.
No, I did watch that documentary. It was interesting.
Yeah, and I forgot my point.
I'm sorry.
Brain fart.
It's contagious.
Yeah, it's terrible. What were we talking about before that?
Well, we were talking about...
Don't drink beer and do podcasts ever.
ever, unless you're a pro. No, we were talking about how they always capture what is currently going on in America with their records that they put out. Like if someone,
Yeah, they're good at like capturing like the
feeling,
the views of like a younger generation and the future and what they're going through, and like which other politicians might not see.
Yeah.
Because they're you don't know until you're that person.
And
you're
were you gonna say like they
through.
did that with American Idiot?
Right,
Like,
right.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Like it,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
Like every like I think they mentioned in that movie. That's what I was gonna say. They mentioned in that movie that like when they were making American Idiot, they knew it was that time period where they like really needed to say something, not to sell records, nothing as far as like we need to get this band as big as possible because it's fucking Green Day.
right.
Everybody knows who the fuck they are.
Yeah, exactly.
But they just felt like they needed to actually make an important record. It was like that. It was a time to do that, and I feel like they're back at it with this one.
Yeah,
I really do. I really feel like they're like because this is their baby. It doesn't matter how big you are, how many records you fucking sold, how long you've been a band. This is their baby, and they made a statement with this one again. And sometimes it takes time to actually do that because sometimes it like a simple song like kill the DJ or whatever, like that's all it needs to be, a simple dumb pop song for people to rock out to because it makes people happy. And it allows them to continue to tour and play shows and stuff. But this time around, they're actually, they're saying something. It's cool.
Yeah,
they're back at it.
They went back compared to their last release of the trilogy Uno Dos Tres.
Yeah.
That was really like they were saying off the cuff, just kind of like they were writing songs and jamming out, and that really was like old school Green Day. Whereas with Revolution Radio, they're kind of going back to the bases of a concept record, but it's not a concept record. It's got a lot of the same, I think, motives, kind of like 21st Century Breakdown did and American Idiot did. It's just not as like profound and like in your face, but it still captures what is currently going on in the world and in America.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think they nailed it. I think they captured both. They captured the how like how a rock band should be, just fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, actually
right.
saying something.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they wanted to do. They wanted to take the two different Green Days and mix them together. They wanted to take the concept Green Day and they wanted to take the lighthearted, making fun records Green Day, combine those two, and then make that into one. And I think that's kind of what they did with Revolution Radio.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
It's baby making music.
Yeah, baby, that's right, man. You wanna make some babies tonight? You throw that sucker on, you'll be rolling. Well, not rolling, but something else.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I get that's it for part 1 of episode 4 of Pop Punk and Pizza.
Part uno.
Huh?
Hey, yo. Here all week.
You are for all day.
I'm here all day. I'm here all week.
Speaking of, we are on location, and once again, we've been doing all our shows on location. We are in Tinley Park in
We're
Dave
in
Gomez's.
Fuck Palace. That's what it's called.
This is called Fuck Palace.
Yeah.
All right.
It is now.
I'm in the right place.
I just made that up.
I'm in the right place now.
Fuck Palace.
And I know we didn't do like our pop punk picks of the week, but we will be doing that at the end of part 2. Now, part 2 of this episode, you can go watch like right now or listen to right now on iTunes or Stitcher or bangarangradio.com. Or like I said, watch it on YouTube.
Yes.
But part 2, we are going to be doing another special record that just came out this past Friday. Sum 41's 13 Voices, and that's also mainly, it is a special record because of all the trials and tribulations they've also gone through as well, kind of like Green Day, so to speak. So yeah, you can go find that and listen to it now. And just want to say thank you for listening to Pop Punk and Pizza here on bangarangradio.com. And I'm Jacques Lamour. This is Dave Gomez from a band called Night Terrors. I didn't mention that, but we're going to get into more of that on part 2.
Yes. Let's do it.
Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya.